It started as just a simple nightmare, one I brushed off as stress after a long day at work. But then it became persistent. In the dream, I was standing alone in the middle of an empty suburban street. The sky was overcast, the sun hidden behind thick, swirling gray clouds, casting everything in a dull twilight. The houses around me were neat and identical, their lawns freshly mowed, but the street was deserted, eerily silent, except for the crunch of my footsteps on the cracked asphalt. I tried to walk forward, but no matter which direction I took, the street seemed to stretch endlessly, twisting and folding like a maze. The trees lining the sidewalks were skeletal, their branches like twisted fingers reaching out. And then I saw it. A black shadow standing motionless at the end of the street, just beyond the glow of a flickering street lamp. I never saw a face or any features. It was just a dark silhouette, utterly still and unmoving. Every night for weeks, the dream repeated with subtle variations. Sometimes the shadow moved closer. Other times, I heard faint whispers, like voices just out of earshot. I woke up drenched in sweat, heart pounding. One night, the shadow finally spoke, though not in words. A cold pressure gripped my chest, and an overwhelming feeling of dread washed over me. Then, I woke up gasping. I thought maybe it was just a bad dream cycle until I started noticing strange things in waking life. A lingering cold spot in my room, shadows flickering in the corner of my vision, and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. I confided in a friend who suggested that sometimes dreams can act as warnings or messages. The dreamscape, this endless suburban street, felt like a liminal space between life and something darker. One night, terrified but curious, I decided to confront the shadow in the dream. As I approached it, the silhouette shifted, revealing a twisted, distorted figure, its eyes glowing faintly red. I wanted to run, but my legs refused to move. The figure reached out, and just as it was about to touch me, I woke up screaming. After that, the nightmare stopped, but I can't shake the feeling that the shadow followed me from the dream world into my waking life. It began on an unusually cold autumn night, the kind of chill that seeps deep into your bones and refuses to leave. I had just moved into an old Victorian house on the outskirts of a small town, the kind of house with creaking floors and long shadows that twist oddly in the corners of rooms. Nothing seemed too strange at first, aside from an old journal I found in the attic. Its pages were yellowed, filled with cryptic notes and sketches of faces with hollow eyes. That night, I had my first nightmare. In the dream, I was trapped inside the house, but it was different, darker, more oppressive. The walls seemed to close in, and the air was thick with an unbearable heaviness. From the darkness, whispers began to grow louder, unintelligible at first, but soon clear words emerged. "Let us in. Open the door." I was drawn toward the basement door at the end of the narrow hallway. It was old and splintered, barely hanging on its hinges. The whispers urged me forward, their voices both pleading and threatening. I tried to resist, but my legs moved on their own. As my hand touched the cold doorknob, I felt icy fingers wrap around my wrist. I jerked awake with a start. The next day, I avoided the basement, but the whispers lingered in my mind. That night, the dream returned, this time more vivid. The basement door creaked open by itself, revealing a dark void beyond. A pale, ghostly face floated inside, its hollow eyes staring directly at me. The whispers turned into desperate cries. "Help us! Trapped!" I woke up, trembling. Over the following days, strange things started happening. Doors would open and close by themselves. I found scratches on the basement door, as if something tried to claw its way out. Determined to confront whatever haunted me, I gathered courage and descended into the basement. The air was cold and damp. Shadows flickered unnaturally. As I reached the far corner, I discovered a hidden trapdoor beneath a loose floorboard. It led to a small, cramped crawl space. Inside, I found remnants of old belongings, torn clothes, broken toys, and a chilling realization. People had been trapped there, forgotten. That night, the whispers stopped. But in their place, I felt an unbearable sadness, a quiet plea for release that would haunt my dreams forever. For years, I had been plagued by the same unsettling dream. It was never exactly the same, but the feeling of being watched was always there, unrelenting and terrifying. The dream usually began in my childhood home, a modest house on the edge of a dense forest. In the dream, I'd be in my room at night, the curtains fluttering gently despite the windows being shut tight. A low hum filled the air, barely audible but growing steadily. I'd look out my bedroom window and see the forest beyond, thick and dark. Then something would catch my eye, a flicker of movement just beyond the tree line. I tried to convince myself it was just an animal, but the feeling was different. It was intelligent, malevolent. One night, the dream took a horrifying turn. Instead of the familiar window view, I found myself standing in the middle of the forest. The trees towered like ancient sentinels, their branches forming clawed shapes against the starless sky. The low hum was now a whispering voice that wrapped around me like cold fog. "Why do you watch me?" I asked aloud, though no one answered. Suddenly, I sensed eyes on my back. I turned slowly and saw a figure, a tall, slender silhouette with no discernible features, standing perfectly still among the trees. It did not move, but the whispering grew louder, more urgent. I ran, stumbling over roots and stones, desperate to escape. But the forest seemed endless, shifting and changing, so the path I took twisted back on itself. Panic swallowed me. Just as the figure was about to reach out, I jolted awake, heart racing. What haunted me most wasn't the dream itself, but what happened next. In the mornings after those dreams, I'd find scratches on my bedroom window frame, fresh, jagged lines that looked like someone or something tried to get in. One morning, I found a small, smooth black stone on my windowsill, a stone that wasn't there before. It was cold to the touch, and I could swear I heard that same whispering voice in my head. I moved away soon after, but I never stopped feeling watched. The forest, the figure, the whispers, they followed me, blurring the line between dream and reality. The dreams began after I moved into my new apartment, a small, quiet place on the 13th floor of an aging building downtown. At first, they were innocent enough, vague shadows drifting across the walls, muffled noises from the empty hallway. But soon, the dreams became vivid and terrifying. In the dream, I was always lying in bed, unable to move, paralyzed by an unseen force. The room was pitch black, except for a faint glow coming from the corner, where a figure stood silently watching me. The figure was tall and thin, its face hidden in deep shadow. It never spoke or made a sound, but its presence was suffocating. Each night, it got closer. I'd try to scream, to move, but my body betrayed me, trapped in a waking nightmare. The longer I stared, the more I felt the weight of its gaze, cold, unblinking, and hungry. One night, the figure extended a hand, long and skeletal, reaching out to touch my face. I jolted awake just as its fingers brushed my cheek. I checked the room, but no one was there. Yet I noticed something strange, a faint cold spot on my pillow where it had touched me. After days of sleepless nights and constant dread, I began to notice scratches on my bedroom door, thin and precise, as if clawed by nails. Friends said it was stress or sleep paralysis, but I knew better. The visitor wasn't just a dream. It was real, waiting in the shadows, silent and patient. And every night, it comes back.